This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
Over the next 40 years, the United States population is going to grow by over 90 million people, and almost all that growth is going to be in cities. What's the healthiest and best way for them to grow so that they really become cauldrons of prosperity and cities of opportunity? What we have found is that if that family is moved into safe, green, affordable housing, places that have access to great school systems, access to jobs, and multiple transportation modes, then the neighborhood begins to thrive and really take off. The oxygen of community redevelopment is financing. And all this rebuilding that happened could not have happened without organizations like Citi.
One of the things that we really try to do is to collaborate with people like Jonathan Rose, who are really like-minded and really can also provide innovative solutions to social issues.
And Citi has formed a partnership with our company so that we can take all the lessons from the revitalization of urban America to other cities. So we're now working in Chicago and in Washington, D.C., and Newark.
It's branching off of Jonathan's expertise and the fact that he has done so many wonderful affordable housing projects, new development and rehabilitation work. And so we were really seeing that there was a need for his skill in areas even outside of New York.
It's amazing how important safe, affordable housing is to the future of our society.
You meet new people, they want to know what you do. And when you tell them your job is to invest in things like low-income housing and schools and healthcare, they're shocked and they're so surprised that a job like this exists in finance. They always say that they had no idea, and then they want to know how they can get a job like that.
It's not about how many miles you can get out of the C-Max Hybrid. It's about how much life you can fit into it. The Ford C-Max Hybrid, with an EPA estimated range of 540 miles on a tank of gas, and all the room you need to enjoy the trip. Go stretch out. Go further.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day. The moment you connect, you're no longer in control.
What does this guy want? No claim, no statement.
We're facing a nuclear meltdown. This is only the beginning.
Black Hat, rated R.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
We are living in times where there is an assault on sanity. Political correctness has run amok and logic has been left by the wayside. Do you constantly ask yourself, WTF is going on in this nation? Do you sometimes feel like a stranger in your own country? Well, fear not. You are not alone. This is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Show, coming to you from deep inside flyover country with your hosts, V. Wright and Jose Estevez.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to WTF. I am V. Wright.
And I am your humble co-host, Jose Estevez. Folks, as always, we are coming to you live Monday through Thursday, unrehearsed, unscripted, and unpolitically correct. We are PG-13, but definitely never PC. This is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot radio show. Welcome to the last show of the week, folks. We made it.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Amazing. How we mustered through, I have no idea. What have you been up to, senor?
What?
What have you been up to?
Well, I've been busy, but I was just going to say we've got a heck of a busy show tonight, folks. I'm glad you joined us. We've got 3 guests tonight. Not one, not 2, but 3 for you. And in the meantime, we're going to be bringing you all kinds of snippets of news because I haven't hardly looked at the news today. I was extra busy with work and different things. And all of a sudden, I'm like, holy smokes. The last 24 hours have been crazy. Hey, V, first thing.
What's that?
You want to know what? Folks, you've got to hear this, and then I'll make this quick. Saudi Arabia, those racists in Saudi Arabia are building a massive wall along their border with Iraq to keep ISIS out, because ISIS keeps coming over and doing raids across the border from Iraq. So the Saudis are going to build, now listen to this, folks, a massive 600-mile-long fence that stretches across the entire length of that country's border with Iraq. And I want you to hear what this is, folks. It's going to feature double-layered with concertina wire barrier in a no-man's land. It will be equipped with underground movement sensors and fiber optic cables, which are connected directly to authorities in Riyadh. On the Saudi side of the fence, 240 rapid response vehicles will patrol the border, along with helicopters that will support those manning 38 communications towers and 32 military response stations strategically placed along the fence. They will be able to detect pedestrians, slow-moving pedestrians at 18 kilometers, light vehicles at 22 kilometers, trucks at 36 kilometers, light aircraft at 27 kilometers, and low-level helicopters out to 36 kilometers. Wow, but, we can't build a fence between us and Mexico and stop them, huh? Saudis can do it for 600 miles, and I mean, this isn't just a fence, folks.
They did not hear.
This is like the Maginot Line, basically, that Germany had.
Hussein did not tell them that fences don't keep people out.
I guess they're not. Yeah, I mean, I wonder if anybody will jump over it and run into the White House. I'm sorry, the Maginot Line was, I believe, France. I said Germany incorrectly. I stand. Don't want to put bad information out there.
Yeah, because you always tell the truth. Remember, you forgot your line tonight.
If Jose Estevez says it, it's the truth. There we go. But seriously, V, I mean, 600-mile fence. They're not messing around. Evidently, these ISIS guys are more than a bird in their saddle. They're not messing around. So, I'm sure it can't be done between the U.S. and Mexico, though. Of course not. It would be racist, first of all.
That extra 100 miles just makes it undoable.
Right.
That extra 100 miles just makes it totally undoable. It would not serve any purpose. It would not be functional. Fences don't keep people out.
No.
Well, let's look at it from the real perspective. The reason that we don't have a fence during the Hussein administration, in all honesty, I do believe, is because then you couldn't tunnel in all those drugs or tunnel out all those guns.
Ooh, well, very good point. Well, of course, we know, in my opinion anyway, I would say a lot of those tunnels over there into Israel from the other side of their border, which, they also have a big, long fence, might originate in the White House. I've always kind of surmised that, but that's just my opinion. Some people might call me nuts.
But somebody needs to inform Saudi Arabia that Hussein says that fences do not keep people out. So it's really pointless.
Well, pointless or not, looks like they're going to spend some money, despite the falling price of a barrel of oil.
Well, speaking of Comrade Caliph, reports have come to light that Hussein has pressured news outlets to not carry any Muslim, anti-Muslim, or anti-jihad stories.
Isn't that amazing?
But we don't have censorship of the press, folks. You know, we're not like Venezuela at all.
It's getting dangerous. This whole thing about Islam, and let's talk about it just a little bit. Obviously, we won't be talking about it all night, although actually, yes, we kind of will with our guests, at least 2 of our 3 guests. But, it's like this whole thing that we reported on last night, that Duke University was going to have the Muslim call to prayer. Now, don't forget, folks, this is like a 3-minute long thing, and they were going to do it multiple times, I think on Fridays. Well, I am proud as an American to say that plenty of people evidently called Duke University, emailed them, Twittered them, whatever they did. And Duke says, oh, no, we're not going to do this anymore. Not a good idea. We've decided it's not going to happen. I know Franklin Graham, son of Billy Graham, put excessive pressure on them. And people from all walks of all over the United States contacted them, like I said, via social media, however they did it. And just in the last 24, 48 hours since the story broke, Duke has now decided that, no, they will not be doing that. I mean, can you imagine? So what I wanted to say, folks, is we do have the power in numbers, and if we keep on topic and keep on message, and if we hammer them the correct way, we do have power. Do not ever forget that. We don't have to be violent. We don't have to be anything, but we have to make our voices heard. Duke back down on this. I can't imagine the amount of pressure they must have gotten. I heard people say that were going to their Facebook page alone and saying things that it was just simply amazing. And a lot of people were being polite but very firm and saying, you're not going to do something like this. This is unimaginable in the United States of America at a university like Duke University.
Well, you're right, but there are some things that we just seem not to be able to get a handle on at all. And, we were, just talking about how Hussein has taken, control, basically, of our news. I mean, it is now, in all essence, mainstream news is now government news. We are in no different category than Venezuela or Germany or Russia back in the day or Russia today,
right?
or China. We're actually in no different position when you've got one entity dictating what can and cannot be aired. Of course, they don't have control of us yet. However, the White House today said that legislation was not necessary to settle the so-called net neutrality rules because the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, already had the authority to write them.
Yes, you're correct. And folks, if you weren't aware, net neutrality is the thought now. I guess it's a thought that, the internet is well, like it says, it's neutral. It's a place where everybody can come together. Nobody really regulates it. It's the free ebb and flow of information of different things. So now the government wants to come in and regulate it, and they want to make it into a utility. Of course, taxes are going to be involved. And if you can imagine the federal government being involved, you can imagine what that's going to do to it. Certainly not make it any better. That's for sure. Of course, they do it under the guise of, we know what's best for you. And some people, some things and some people need to be regulated. I wonder who that would be. It certainly won't be Muslims because, they're going out there and saying that nobody can speak out against them and making a big deal about that. But that's what that net neutrality is all about.
Even the Pope said that.
Yes, the Pope.
Even the Pope came out and said free speech has limits and that people cannot make fun of others' faiths. Further, he has made a call on global warming and the urgency for action as man has, quote, slapped Mother Nature in the face.
This guy's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I mean, he is so up and down, and there's some things he's good on, and when he came out, I think we were all kind of hopeful, but he is more and more showing his socialist roots and his communist roots and whatever else you want to call him. He is, I'm telling you what, he's something.
It is unreal. Hey, senor.
Yes?
I think all the feminazis out there need to know.
Yes, what do they need to know?
ISIS was not too kind to the women that they defend.
Oh, well, imagine that, huh?
And I think all the liberals, need to know, since all the conservatives have a war on women, they need to come out and defend, these women from ISIS, because ISIS executed 150 women for refusing to marry militants in the last 3 days.
Wow. But you won't see that on the mainstream news, folks. Doesn't further the agenda. Imagine that. No, but that's very true. The gay people and stuff like that, all these people that would be the first to be subdued, if not outright killed. I mean, they're the ones that, stand out strong and say, we need to be tolerant and all these other words, all these other buzzwords that the communists and leftists use. And they're the first ones. They don't realize if they ever came to power, you'd be the first ones that were gone. Disappeared, whatever they would do to you. I mean, I shudder to think about it.
And then conservative women like me, liberal women, oh my God, because at least conservative women don't mind putting on clothes. I'm just saying. I mean, honestly, I see some of the way that I went to the grocery store today. I really didn't want to because I don't feel good, but I went to the grocery store today. And this girl comes in, and I'd be willing to bet she weighed every bit of 300 pounds.
Ooh.
And it is like 40 degrees outside. And she's got a pair of cut-off shorts on.
Ugh.
Wait a minute. It gets better. It gets better.
Or worse, as the case may be.
And they are cut so high that probably 12 inches of behind were hanging out the bottom of them.
Okay, that's just about enough of that. Oh.
No, it gets better. It gets better. It really gets better. So she has these, she's got like brown straight hair and, and she's got these white streaks in it. And she's got this red tank top on with massive bosoms. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, you just bypass them, right? And try not to be extremely rude, because sometimes I find it very difficult not to say something.
Right.
My filters don't always work.
And imagine that.
So I made it out of the grocery store. I did wonderful. I made it out of the grocery store, did not say a word. So I get to my car and I'm putting the things in my vehicle, and she walks behind my car. Well, you've seen the back of my car.
Oh, yes.
So she makes a comment.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Filter gets lost.
Like, instantly.
Filter is lost. And I proceeded to tell her what a freaking moron, loser, how she was going to be an Al-Qaeda witch with a capital B, and enjoy wearing no clothes right now, you tramp, because you ain't going to get to do that very long.
Oh, well. Okay. Were you at Walmart by chance?
No, I was not. I was at the grocery store.
Well, Walmart has grocery store, too, on one side.
Now, see, that tells you how often I go to Walmart.
Okay, yeah, well, they're called super centers.
Yeah. we have them here. No.
Oh, okay.
Just no. I go to Kroger's, because Kroger's will let me bring my gun.
Oh, good. Okay, so they open carry, or
they don't care.
They don't care. Well, of course, they wouldn't know if you're concealed. I mean, it's ridiculous if people say don't enter with your gun, because if you're carrying concealed the right way, they'd never know anyway. I mean, that's just what my opinion, folks.
So I don't go to Starbucks, but I do go to Kroger's.
Okay. Yeah, I've never been inside of a Starbucks either, or spent 1 red cent on any of their things. Well, yeah, interesting. Hey, you know what? And I just got a little rant here. We kind of been talking a little bit about the feds with the net neutrality thing.
Uh-huh.
It says, and of course we're getting into income tax season, folks, so you'll see all the people out there wearing the Statue of Liberty garb, waving and trying to get you to do your taxes and blah, blah, blah. Well, folks, need help filing your tax return? Do not call the IRS. The IRS said they are going to be so busy that only half of the 100 million people expected to call this year will be able to reach a person. And people that do get through may have to wait 30 minutes or more to talk to someone who's simply only going to answer the simplest questions. That's all they're going to do. So I guess they can just say, we're not going to do our jobs, huh, at the IRS, you scumbags. How much money are you making? You making less money so that you can justify doing less work?
And how
But
many
they said,
more?
it's because
And how many more
the
IRS agents
Republicans
did
are
we
making us
get?
have a budget cut. Poor babies, we're having a budget cut, and we're so busy. We got so much work to do. I'll tell you what, these scumbags in public service that do less and less work, they make me sick. The amount of money they make through their unions. You got Lois Lerner, who's still out of jail, never spent a day in jail after she went after American citizens. What the heck is wrong with this country? Public servants, my rear end. There is no such thing as a public servant. None. They all make more money than half the people that work in the private industry, and they do less and less and less. How can they even come out and say we're going to do less work and we're not going to answer your phone calls? How do you do that? I'll tell you what, maybe some private agency ought to go in and take over the IRS, or we ought to flat outright get rid of them. See how that works for them.
Well,
Put them all on the
I agree with
unemployment
that.
line.
I
See what
agree
jobs
with
they
that.
can get.
I
Scumbags.
agree with that. I agree with that. However, I don't know why this surprises you or enrages you so.
These federal employees, I don't think there's a one that has any sort of morality or any sort of goodness in them. I don't think there's a single one out there. And if there are, where the heck are they? Gee whiz, they come out and say they're not going to answer phone calls.
How many
What's your job?
new IRS employees did Hussein give us?
Right, because
40,000?
of Obamacare. Because don't forget, folks,
Wasn't that
the IRS is in
40,000?
charge of your health now. Welcome to
that
America in the year 2015. The IRS is in charge of your health, folks.
40,000 new employees, and they can't answer telephone calls.
Well, most of them are going to be carrying shotguns and hundreds of thousands of rounds of ammunition because, who knows what the IRS might need that for, huh? But I'm sure that's just my paranoia.
John McCain is making it clear what that's all about. John McCain says Tea Partiers should be going after as terrorists. That man has lost his dadgum mind. I mean, the man has gone insane.
Oh, John McCain. I mean, I don't know what the North Vietnamese did to him. I have no idea, but it's far beyond time for him to retire and to get out of, once again, quote-unquote, public service, with which he's enriched himself to amounts that most of us normal people can never even imagine through his, quote-unquote, public service that he's done for the country. Goodbye, good riddance, John McCain. Why can't you get rid of him, Arizona? What's wrong with you people? Come on. Well, I just said you people. That might be racist. I don't know. I mean, seriously, what is wrong that people like this can keep getting away with what they do? I mean, you have a job and you tell somebody, well, I'm not going to answer the phones because we can't because, the Republicans cut our budget. So you're not going to do your job? I'll tell you what. The next day, every single one of them would be out of a job. See how that works for them. See how long we could get along without the IRS. You think we could do it, folks? You think we could figure out a way to replace it, flat tax, or have private industry come in and take over, make it more efficient? I'll bet you there's a whole lot we could do and get rid of every one of them, house cleaning from the top to the bottom, and get rid of every one of those quote-unquote public servants that are not public servants.
Well, again, I go back to what I said yesterday, that, a viable solution that would scare the pants off of them is if every conservative in this nation decided for 2 weeks to a month, we're not going to work. We can survive off of our savings. We don't have to collect a paycheck. They get nothing. Let's try it. I mean, honestly, let's try it. We keep talking about that we know they're not listening to us. We know that they are pushing an agenda behind closed doors that we are not privy to. We know that it doesn't matter really who we send because all the new people we send get corrupted by the old people that are there. And have to cave to the good old boy system that's there. Nothing changes. They come out. They continuously give us a song and dance, tell us what we want to hear, then get there and go totally feckless. And we have two ways to deal with this. In all honesty, and there are only two ways to deal with this. I thought after the new Congress got seated that, we would give it a shot. But, folks, we don't have 2 more years. 2 more years, we will be full on socialism. I mean, Hussein is laying everything out there that he's going to bypass. on a daily basis, I get confirmation that Republicans are going to get on board with him. It is just absolutely ridiculous. So we have two options. We can choose, well, we have three. We can sit here and we can take it and we can comply and we can adapt and just suck it up, Buttercup. We can affect the country financially because if conservatives stayed home and said, we're not doing it, we're going to live off of our whatever we have saved, however tight that budget might have to be, and we're going to do that for a month, and they see virtually no income, because let's face it, folks, if it weren't for people like us, they would have no income.
Right.
So we can do it that way, or it's a bloodbath. I mean, these are the only options we have, because they are paying us never mind. They're totally ignoring us. They're ignoring us on a local level. They're ignoring us at our children's schools. They're ignoring us in our churches. I mean, they stomped all over our churches. Where's the separation of church and state that all these people clamor for? It's just a bad scenario, and we have but truly three options.
You're right.
And thus far, everybody's given a benefit of the doubt for this past election to make change. And have we heard one word about impeachment, about treason, about an illegal president? Have we heard anything about closing our borders? Absolutely not. Today the report came out that they've been working a deal for months behind the scenes to find a way to integrate the Dreamers, the 11.5 million. Remember, we were only going to have 5. But we got to include the Dreamers, too. Okay, so it was the Dreamers, the 11.5 million that are already here. That's what they say. And all of those who are currently holding worker visas. What's that tally up to?
You know, V, we know they lie through their teeth. I mean, there's 40 to 50 million at least, if not more. Real numbers, because once again, folks, you think your unemployment number is real? You think any numbers you see? You think the stock market number is real? I mean, I got a nice bridge to sell you over there in Brooklyn. I mean, holy smokes, some oceanfront property over there in Arizona, where McCain is. I mean, it gets so frustrating. It really is a lot of what the F moments. But well, I mean, the IRS. I pick on the IRS because they're the ones saying they're not going to do their job. But quite honestly, I don't know if there's one good person in the entire federal government. Because I'll tell you what, folks, those people in Nazi Germany that were not members of the Nazi Party, and the Nazi Party, as part of Germany, was really a very small amount of people. I don't know what the number is. I believe it was less than 20%. But you know what, folks? Those trains that were bringing the Jews to their ultimate destination, which was death, ran on time, ran on schedule, ran under budget. And guess what? That was people working in that government. The German government was
just
always known as being very...
job.
Right, just doing their job. And I think we saw at Nuremberg that was not a viable excuse for a lot of people in upper positions to say, I wasn't part of it, I was just doing my job. Folks, we've got a whole federal government full of these people that every day just do their job. These so-called quote-unquote public servants, which are neither, well, they're definitely not servants. I mean, and is there a noble person among them? Is there one noble person among them? I don't believe there is. So if there is, you prove it to me. Prove me wrong, but I don't think you can, because I don't think there is. I think they'll do whatever they need to do for their next paycheck, for their wonderful retirement that they'll get, and all the benefits that they get. And I tell you what, that is dead wrong. No justification whatsoever. We got to take a break. Stay with us. We got a great night ahead of us. Three, count them, 3 people going to be here with us, and you don't want to miss it. We'll be right back.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
Over the next 40 years, the United States population is going to grow by over 90 million people, and almost all that growth is going to be in cities. What's the healthiest and best way for them to grow so that they really become cauldrons of prosperity and cities of opportunity? What we have found is that if that family is moved into safe, green, affordable housing, places that have access to great school systems, access to jobs, and multiple transportation modes, then the neighborhood begins to thrive and really take off. The oxygen of community redevelopment is financing. And all this rebuilding that happened could not have happened without organizations like Citi.
One of the things that we really try to do is to collaborate with people like Jonathan Rose, who are really like-minded and really can also provide innovative solutions to social issues.
And Citi has formed a partnership with our company so that we can take all the lessons from the revitalization of urban America to other cities. So we're now working in Chicago and in Washington, D.C., and Newark.
It's branching off of Jonathan's expertise and the fact that he has done so many wonderful affordable housing projects, new development and rehabilitation work. And so we were really seeing that there was a need for his skill in areas even outside of New York.
It's amazing how important safe, affordable housing is to the future of our society.
You meet new people, they want to know what you do. And when you tell them your job is to invest in things like low-income housing and schools and healthcare, they're shocked and they're so surprised that a job like this exists in finance. They always say that they had no idea, and then they want to know how they can get a job like that.
The design of the Ford Escape is clearly intended to grab your eye. Oh, and your foot. Huh, ain't that a kick? The Ford Escape with the foot-activated liftgate. Go open up something interesting. Go further.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here. We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day. The moment you connect, you're no longer in control.
What does this guy want?
No claim, no statement.
We're facing a nuclear meltdown. This is only the beginning.
The Black Hat, rated R.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Welcome back to WTF. I'm your host, V. Wright.
And I am Jose Estevez. And folks, with us on the phone, we have our first guest of the night. She's no stranger to the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot radio show. Her name is Christine Weitz. And V, take it away.
Hey, Christine, how are you?
I am well, and you sound much better tonight, Jose. Much better.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, I believe last week when we spoke, yeah, that was pretty rough. Thank you for noticing.
Man.
And yes, I'm feeling much better. Thank you for your well wishes and prayers.
Now, for those of you out there who are not familiar with our dear friend Christine, you may know her from another environment, another newsworthy story. She was the sole individual to stand up in the middle of the National Cathedral when the Islamics attempted to take over. And she stood in resistance and gained national notoriety. And she is also planning on March 6th, she and I will be at Dearborn, Michigan, at the mosque there on Ford Avenue, I think it is.
Yes, it is.
Right there by the American Islamic Relations. We have both attended there separately on separate events or individual adventures, shall you say. And this time we will be going together and inviting as many to go forward with us as will join us. But we have another scenario going on. And Christine, since we spoke last week, it has now hit mainstream news. It's being carried by Drudge. There have been many groups established to back you on this, on what's occurring Saturday. So I'm going to give you the floor, darling. Why don't you tell everybody about it?
Okay. Well, from what I could tell, just from what I am reading on my Facebook, I'm getting many contacts from different organizations. One of them is the bikers that have traveled. They traveled to D.C., I believe, the year before, when they had 1 million bikers to Washington.
Right.
There is that group coming.
Right.
And
we have a representative from them coming on the show at later on in the program.
Yes.
Awesome. Yes. And, you know, this is where we need to stand up not only for Christ, for Jesus Christ. At this point, we need to stand up for our country.
Amen.
And this is where we go for our God and our country. Because look what happened. Well, in fact, I think 2 days ago, if not yesterday, I got a news link on my inbox that stated the Duke University was going to do for the first time the Islamic call of prayer from their balcony.
That's right.
And I just about went, I can't believe this. This is coming like a flood here. And I can't make it. I can't be there tomorrow. And then I got a news report just about an hour ago that they have canceled it.
Yes,
this is where we need to be. We need to strike up a chord here and just say, enough, we're not going to go this far.
Well, we have gone further than we ever needed to, and it is time to regain some ground, set some limits, make it very clear that if you come to the United States of America, you integrate, you assimilate, or you go home. And really, and in all honesty, that's the way our immigration policy. That's how it should read. That you are given X amount of time to assimilate, and if you have not been able to accomplish that in a year or two, gone.
But that's where the problem is. We put them and we build them their mosques. That right there does not assimilate into a Christian culture. And I am for freedom of religion. Don't get me there. That's fine. But when they start enforcing the hijab on young girls that are going to be going to school, or they take out the Christian prayer, but they allow these prayer rugs to go in, and that these Muslims, these boys, can then do their call of prayer at their little elementary school, but yet the Christian cannot have the Bible and do their little prayer before a meal. We now have a conflict of interest here, and now I'm thinking, where is the pendulum swinging towards?
Well, at that point,
it's swinging towards people who refuse to assimilate.
Well, absolutely, and what we're seeing is with the persecution of Christians, and anybody can, I'll argue that with anybody on any given moment, globally. But anyone who thinks that you're not seeing it here in the United States of America, you are seeing a persecution of the Christian faith here in the United States of America, and the balance is that no one, because of fear, with the exception of a few of us, are standing against the Islamics. And I'm with you. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with Hindus. I don't have a problem with Buddhists. I don't have a problem with Jews. I have a problem with people who want to cut my head off.
Yes.
Right.
And look at, I don't have a problem with religious groups having a conference at a conference center. It's public property. I mean, I'm sure if Franklin Graham wanted to do a conference there, he could have one.
But not for the purpose of pushing forth a political agenda that is going to ultimately transform our nation.
And that's their purpose of this conference. It's not how can we all get along. It's what can we do about the Islamic phobes? What can we do to stand up against them? This is almost like their little war room at a conference center. This is what it's become. It's their war room against Americans.
Right deep in the heart of Texas. And, we've spoken time and time again about it, Christine, that Islam means submission. It's not a gentle religion like Christianity, that you come in and it's a loving God. And it's nothing like that whatsoever. It is about submission. And let's not forget, folks, Islam has nothing to do with a religion. It is a neo-fascist political front covered with the trappings of a religion to give it the air of legitimacy. It is neither a religion nor legitimate. It is primarily a political organization, and don't you forget it. That's exactly what it is.
And they would so much, and of course you hear this constantly from those who, we got to get along. They say, no, this is the religion of peace. Mm-hmm. And I okay, I understand one thing. Most Muslims are not terrorists, but every terrorist out there is a Muslim. That to me is it.
There you have it. And people will say, well, 10 years ago, somebody that claimed to be a Christian killed an abortion doctor or something like that. Oh, really? Okay, now maybe that was. I don't know. But okay, let's say a Christian killed an abortion doctor. I don't condone that. I'm not standing out there praising them. I'm not out there telling them to do that. That's not what that's all about. You've got psychos and everything, but you seem to have a whole lot more psychos in the Muslim, and I'm not going to say faith, in Islam, in the political...
And in regards to that, Senor Jose, in regards to that, many of us Christians stood up and said, that is not Christian behavior. That is not how we solve this problem. We are no better than them when we choose to take a life for them taking a life. Right. In that regard. We are honestly no better than them. However, another difference between Christianity and the Islamics, the Muslim religion, is that with Christianity, you are not threatened with death for not converting. You are not beaten into submission because you fail to agree or accept Jesus Christ as your Savior.
Mm-hmm.
You
Good
are
points.
not forced to be a second-class citizen. Your little children are not defiled, and no one loses their head.
Literally. Well, that's just a little workplace violence, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I mean, seriously, folks, that's what the government told us when that happened down at Fort Hood, when he sat up there, standing up, yelling, Allahu Akbar, and killed all those people and wounded all those other people until they finally put the sucker down. Too bad didn't kill him, just wounded him grievously, and he's still alive, and we're still dealing with him and paying for him. But, I mean, it's ludicrous, folks. What is somebody going to think looking back 200 or 300 years at the history of the United States and say, what's this political correctness thing? They were willing to die for it?
Well, exactly. What are people going to say? They look back and they say there were 360 million people and they succumbed to 2 million.
Well, maybe I'll throw a little different spin on that.
Okay.
Let's look at the big picture. I may be totally wrong, but I'm going back to how God handled his people in the Old Testament.
Okay.
The nation of Israel defiled the Lord and his commands. They went against God. They took off and did their own thing. America is headed that path with the whole abortion issue, the gay marriage issue. They're slapping God in the face. And one of the ways that God disciplined the nation of Israel back in the Old Testament was to let their enemies come in and take over. Is that what's happening to us?
Yeah, it was definitely.
That may be a very good point, because we have definitely turned our back on him as a nation overall. There is no doubt about it.
Well, Christine, you're going to be in Garland on Saturday.
Yes.
You're going out there. I've been telling people that you'll be out there about 3 o'clock. Am I right?
Yes. According to the Islamic website, the program is going to begin about 5 o'clock, but actually, according to the conference website, they are beginning at 7 p.m. But regardless, I'm going to be here or be in the parking lot with my sign. I serve a risen Savior, Jesus Christ. Muhammad is dead.
Awesome.
I'll be out there with that at 3 p.m.
Awesome.
And
I
would say most danger, if this conference is what they are calling for, this handling of Islamic phobes, I am going to ask the Lord for the most protection to fall upon us in the evening when they come out.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That'll be interesting to see how they handle us then. I don't know. We just pray for protection, and we'll make sure we handle that, according to God's plan. And I feel He has us rising up for a reason here.
Folks, I mean,
we'll
I've been pushing, and Jose has been pushing this because, especially since our broadcast Monday, of course, we had Christine on last week, and we learned about this event, and, we've been very actively, pushing for this event, pushing for attendance at this event. But Monday specifically, we really doubled down on this because of the events that occurred in Germany. In Germany on Monday, there was an anti-Islam protest, and the Muslims and Islamic sympathizers showed up and outnumbered them 4-1. And now the Muslims are claiming victory in Germany and claiming that they have now dominated that country because of the low turnout. Folks, we cannot let that happen in the United States of America. And folks, everybody tells me how wonderful and great and strong and everything else Texas is. Surely cannot allow it to occur there.
It is going to be an interesting thing. And again, I put out the call out there along with your show. Come on, even just come as an American.
Amen. Right there.
Come as an American, first and foremost.
Signs like Christine's that say, she worships a risen God. Signs that say assimilate. Signs that say no Sharia.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They don't have to be hate signs.
Certainly
not.
Somebody
don't want hate stuff.
On Facebook last week, I wish I had 1 million thumbs up sign. Somebody spelled out the word jihad, Jihad, as Jesus is, how is it? Jesus is holy and dominant. I love it.
Beautiful. There you go.
Awesome.
That would be a perfect sign. Jihad.
That would get 'em.
Jesus is holy and dominant.
Well, we're going, we're pushing as hard as we can, Christine. We appreciate. Now,
Thank you.
We've got Christine that's going to be on the ground there. I have several friends that are from the great state of Texas that will be there with you, Christine. Some of them are United States Marine Corps individuals, and I have asked that they kind of seek you out for your protection.
If someone gets martyred over this, I don't foresee that. Don't get me wrong.
No, but
we don't know this.
I just would
that's for
rather
sure.
you had some gentlemen there that knew how to handle themselves, that were like by your side. We do have the bikers, and Brian McDavid is going to be on later to talk to us about that as well. So we're going to have you and Brian, and I believe Sharon Daring from Camp Lone Star is trying her best to get there.
Another friend of the show, yes, definitely.
Another friend of the show, absolutely. So we will be getting reports, and as much as we can, folks, Saturday, we will be giving you guys updates right here on CPR. Yeah. So, and I do believe that someone has agreed to send us a video stream so that the news media can't say, well, there were only 50 people out there.
As they are wont to do over and over and over.
They've shown their true colors before on things like this.
Yes,
absolutely.
They sure have.
Yes.
Well, Christine, thank you again for coming and being with us. I thank you for being my friend. Thank you for advising me well. I do appreciate that. Sometimes I need that.
The show. Thank you for putting a voice out there that is needed. Definitely needed. It's now more than ever.
It's our pleasure. I can assure you of that. Thank you so much for your kind words.
All right, and I'll keep in touch tomorrow.
And you
okay.
Stay safe.
Very good.
Or on Saturday. I'm sorry, not tomorrow. It's Saturday.
Well, you've got my cell phone number, so you can call tomorrow, too.
Well, I'm going to hit a mosque up close by here in Garland. I'm going to find me a mosque, and I'm going to hit their call of prayer tomorrow. So.
Very good.
Awesome.
Very good. Make sure to post, if you want to put that information out there, we'll share it, so.
Definitely.
You got it. Thank you again, guys.
God bless, baby.
Godspeed. You take care.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye. Guys,
Isn't
that's
she
Christine.
amazing?
She is just phenomenal. She is just really phenomenal. She truly is one of God's warriors.
And just a down-to-earth, honest-to-God, red-blooded American female, empowered. War on women? What are you talking about?
Amen.
I mean, seriously, this lady is fearless. And I'm glad she'll actually have some people there with her this time, because
she's not
when she was at the
fearless
National
now.
Cathedral, she was by herself in that place, folks. By herself.
Well,
all these people said they were going to be there, and she still did her thing. And she did it, and like she said, she didn't do it with hate. She didn't do it with malice in her heart. But she had something on her heart and on her mind, and she spoke about Jesus and about God. I mean, it's just amazing. Just amazing.
Well, she does. She's not fearless. I mean, to go without fear is just like foolish.
Right.
But
yes, you have to have some common sense as well.
Remember when she was telling us about her trip to the National Cathedral and just how scared she was, and she was just like trembling in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. She didn't even. She said her knees were shaking. She did not even know if she could walk.
Right.
I mean, she was truly, scared and uncertain, but she had faith. She had faith, people.
And folks, for those of you that are new to the show, I see there's a bunch of you new tonight. And then, hey, welcome to Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Radio Show. We're live Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm Jose Estevez. V. Wright is my co-host. Folks, that show with Christine, like every other show we've done since the beginning of October last year when we started the show, is archived. It's on YouTube, and I believe some of them are accessed through our website. Correct, V?
All of them are accessed through our website.
There you go. The WTFradioshow.com. It was an amazing interview we had with her. We were still pretty much neophytes ourselves, and just a great interview with her, though. This is the first-hand information that she gave us. But all of our shows from day one are archived out there if you want to go back and listen. One that V and I are particularly proud of, I believe, was that November 11 is Veterans Day? I'm trying to think of the exact date.
That is correct. It's our Veterans Day tribute.
An amazing show. We had 5 veterans: World War II, Korea, Desert Storm, Iraq, and Vietnam. And I'll tell you what, folks, we've done a lot of good shows, but those are a couple we're exceptionally proud of. So anyway, want to welcome all of our new listeners tonight to the show. Hope you like what you're hearing. As always, you can get a hold of us if you want to call the show, 313-462-0068. We're really busy tonight with we've got 2 more guests that we'll have on yet in the next hour. But you're always we like to hear from you what's going on, what your thoughts are, and we're here to listen. And hopefully you enjoy our efforts.
Well, exactly. And if you can follow us on Twitter at the WTF Radio. You can find our website at www.thewtfradioshow.com. Our email is there. You can call the show, as Jose said, 313-462-0068. You can leave comments on our website. You can tweet us on our website. You can chat on our website. Or you can email us from our website if you'd like to leave a personal comment. Our email account is WTF@CPRWorldwideMedia.com. So there are ample ways to reach us. Plus, we're both on Facebook, and currently we are sitting here watching the chat thread at CPR Media Network Group on Facebook. If you'd like to go be part of that and join, our thread is pinned to the very top, and a lot of folks in there talking tonight.
Well, and folks, basically what V just said is if you want to get a hold of us, we're accessible. so don't say there's no way to contact us. There's plenty of ways to contact us. We couldn't be more accessible if we let you in the studios, and I'm in the bunker and you're not getting in here. So that's the most you're going to get. But trust me, if you want to interact with us, we're accessible to you folks, and certainly you are the ones that we're doing this for. We're just having the time of our lives doing it since we started it back in October. And welcome to all of our new listeners. And if you like us, the best thing you can do is tell your friends about us.
Share
Monday through Thursday, we are live. We are unrehearsed, we are unscripted, and unpolitically correct.
Yes, we're PG-13, but we are not PC.
Right. We pushed that PG-13 rating just a couple times. We're trying not to do that.
I think I slipped up and got a little bit of that yesterday.
Perhaps last night when we had a little technical difficulty, but we're just human too. So.
But anybody that knows me or has access to any of my social standings, my social networks, knows that sometimes I don't care about being PG-13.
This is true.
And for all our new listeners out here, just so you guys know, the Senor Jose is the nice, calm. He's the calm in the water, and I am that right-wing nut job. And
I have my moments, but
but you always have a filter. I don't. Sometimes my filter just says I'm off.
Right. It's there we go.
Lady, you've been working me double time lately. I'm taking a break.
Well, we got to take a break here in a moment. It looks like Zippy, the Muslim whisperer, up there in the Hate Whitey hut, it looks like he says to Senate Democrats that he's going to go on the offensive. Oh, boy. We knew it, folks. The next 2 years are going to be an amazing time in the history of this constitutional republic. I figured he was going to double down. He has nothing to lose. I mean, Bill Clinton, as much as I despise that man, he at least moderated when the Republicans took over in 94. He was able to do that. But this guy is going to go full-on commie, folks, and I don't know what we're going to see because I don't think the Republicans have enough testosterone amongst them to stand up against him. And he's certainly got the courts on his side and everybody else. So it's going to be an interesting 2 years. Folks, we got to take a quick break. 2 visitors with us when we come back in the next hour. We're going to have a lot going on for the last hour of the show for the week, so stay with us. We will be right back.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
How are things with the new guy?
All we do is go out to dinner.
That's it?
I mean, he picks up the tab every time, which is great.
Why? He's using you. He probably has a city thank you card and he gets 2 times the points at restaurants.
So he's just racking up points with me.
Some people.
Ugh.
No, I got it.
The City Thank You Preferred Card. Now earn 2 times the points on dining out and entertainment with no annual fee. To apply, go to city.com/thankyoucards.
The most amazing thing about the Ford Fusion isn't the way it looks. The most amazing thing is the way it sees. With blind spot technology, a lane keeping system, and a standard rear view camera, the Fusion is ready for whatever comes your way. Go prepared. Go further.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day. The moment you connect, you're no longer in control.
What does this guy want? No claim, no statement.
We're facing a nuclear meltdown. This is only the beginning.
The Black Hat, rated R.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
We're back, everybody. It's WTF, and I am V. Wright.
And I'm Jose Estevez. Welcome back to the show, folks. If this is your first time listening, we appreciate you. Hopefully you'll tune in more often. We're live Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. And, folks, we have another special guest with us. V, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Paul Preston. For those of you who do not know who he is a new member of the CPR Worldwide Media show programming. And many of you may know him from his Agenda 21 radio. And he is coming to CPR coming Monday, correct, Paul?
That's correct. That's correct.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the
thank you very
network.
much.
Yeah, welcome to the network as well.
Well, I'm really excited about the opportunity, and we'll get some work done. A lot of work needs to be done right now. So what you're doing on radio and everybody else in the new stream media is something that is very impressive, and it's actually the only thing that's saving this country right now besides our Constitution and our Bill of Rights.
Well,
good work.
Hey, well, thank you. We appreciate it. You know, we try to do what we can, and we enjoy what we do, and we try to do it with a little bit of levity as much as possible. Sometimes that is impossible, and sometimes we do it with leashed rage, is what I'll call it.
Good way to put it,
Yeah.
V. Good way to put it.
Yeah, they kind of like to get us all raging all the time right now. Have you noticed?
Well,
it's very easy to do.
It really is. I mean, they keep laying down enough to keep people angry about. But we tell our listeners quite frequently that we can't get all up in arms every time they do something because they are counting on us having emotional fatigue.
Right. Yeah, in fact, I just did an interview yesterday with John Griffing from WorldNet Daily, and he has an article. It's on our website, agenda21radio.com, talking about crisis fatigue, I think is the name of the article. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, I don't have my website up right now. I'm not looking at it. But he talked about that, where you're going from crisis to crisis, and that's part of the strategy that the president has employed here.
Well,
right,
absolutely.
To overwhelm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, Paul,
overwhelm the sensitivities.
We wanted to bring you on. Tell us a little bit about what kind of program for our listeners, so that they know to come over and give you a listen. Give them an idea the kind of things that you cover.
Well, we cover basically. I'll give you like the byline when I open up the show. I say, "Welcome to Agenda 21 Radio. This is the radio show that's stopping totalitarianism one community at a time." So that might give people a clue as to what we talk about on the radio show. And we started talking about Agenda 21 as an issue. And I was really kind of interestingly enough, my background is I'm a biologist, a biological science and environmental science teacher. I did that for 15 years, and then I went on to school administration, really wised up and went on to school administration and was in the system for 41 years here in California. And I've dealt with high-risk youth and high-risk activities, a lot of gangs and a lot of things like that over the years. A specialist, in fact, very much a specialist in drugs and gangs and gang affiliations here in California and also throughout the nation. I've become an expert in drug recognition. Certain people who have we have the drug recognition that's going on. In other words, I can identify people who are under the influence of various assorted drugs. I've done over 3,000 drug examinations, which is kind of interesting. So that's all been part of my history. And so when I take a look at people that are like the president themselves, I take a look at him and I can tell you what day he's stoned and what day he's not. So I think I probably connected a few dots for some people just by that statement, because I know a lot of people, when I say that and I go out and speak publicly, I bring that notion up that the president is a habitual smoker of marijuana, and a lot of people, their head shakes and like, well, I thought that, especially some of my good friends that are former users and heavy users, they recognize it right away. Right. But so my background has been with education, but I started getting into radio back in, I started getting into media in a big way back in the 1990s, and my first big media gig was to set up a media production company, and one of our big stories that we covered was the Orange County bankruptcy in 1995 or 1994.
Right.
And I became a whistleblower and discovered the ins and outs of what was going on with the Orange County bankruptcy, which was at that time the single largest municipal bankruptcy in the nation. And I developed a friend. He was one of the biggest bond brokers in the nation. His name was Chris Street. And Chris Street was the guy who was a forensic accountant who blew the whistle on Keating. Remember the Keating scandal, savings and loan and all that stuff? John McCain will remember that.
Yes.
No, John McCain doesn't remember anything. He forgot. He's a conservative.
Well, selective memory.
He almost went to jail for what Chris Street did. But Chris Street was brought in by the FBI to get the goods on Keating, and he got it in 3 days. And so Chris and I worked together on the Orange County bankruptcy, not knowing each other until they actually declared bankruptcy, and then we had a meeting with one another, and we had an opportunity to share our notes about what knowledge we had about the bankruptcy, and we recognized it as some sort of big picture fraud scheme going on and defrauding the people of Orange County, the taxpayers. And as it turned out, as we've looked over time and as we've seen this whole thing, what it was a Cloward and Piven strategy designed to destroy the Republican Party in California and usher in a new era of the Democratic Party, which is, by the way, the next election that came about, which was in 1996 following the bankruptcy. California has never been Republican since.
Correct.
And
Absolutely.
It was a strategy that was, now we know the full history because we've been able to go back and document it. It was a Bill Clinton strategy. Bill Clinton had not visited Orange County, but twice, Southern California in the 1992 election, twice. And then after the bankruptcy, just the next month, it was December of 94 when they declared bankruptcy. By January of 1995, he visited Orange County 28 times between then and the 1996 election. So some telltale signs going on there. To, increases base with the Hispanics and the Democrats, and it worked. The strategy worked, and of course that's an overwhelming the system type of strategy. The Cloward and Piven strategy, which is what's happening to us today. These people are utilizing everything that they possibly can through the media and so on to overwhelm us and overwhelm our sensitivities, overwhelm everything, overwhelm our border patrol, overwhelm everything's being overwhelmed from a Cloward and Piven strategy standpoint, and that's where Cloward, Francis Fox Piven and Richard Cloward, who ultimately they married each other from Columbia University, go figure. They came up with that strategy in the 60s and utilized it in the 70s and almost bankrupt New York City, and they managed to do so in Orange County, and that was one of their big things. So this Cloward and Piven strategy is what we're seeing right now today, and Chris and I were the original whistleblowers on that. And, of course, everybody dumped on us and thought we were absolutely crazy, wacko, and all. We even learned how to endure. But we were right.
Now, your program also is deeply entrenched in what is going on in Europe, too, to bring the big picture collectively together. Am I correct?
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In order to understand what's going on in America today, and you have to understand, and where I came to the radio was back in about 14 years ago. It's 14 years ago in March. So in another month or so, I started a radio show as an educator called the Inside Education Show, and I was trying to draw people's attention to the high dropout rate in California and the nation. California, we have a dropout rate of about 35%. Wow. Just however you want to run the state will tell you, which is really hysterical. Now, I'm an administrator who knows these numbers, knows how to get these numbers and what to do with them. The state that does not audit its own figures, by the way, declares a 4.3.
Wow.
Well, of course.
Now,
I mean that they came from the same school of Common Core that does our Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Right, the unemployment rate.
Exactly. It's all corrupt. It's all absolutely corrupt. But there's a simple way to calculate it. The calculation is a very simple one, and that is the number of freshmen that come in on a given year. 4 years later, how many have gotten a diploma? That's the
right.
If you do that statewide, and of course, what they do is they bastardize it all. They change around the numbers. Just after 7 years, our dropout rate is 4.3%. What about the 4-year stretch? Where's that coming from? So that's how they justify. That's part of the justification of what they do. But so I then it was interesting. It was really obvious to me that what was happening in education was a worldwide effort to destroy California in particular. And that was, of course, my emphasis to begin with, was where are all these elements coming around trying to overregulate us and overtax us and really drive out business. And I had traveled in 1992 to East Europe, actually to East Germany, and saw the effects of socialism, communism there. And what I was seeing in California was the same thing: buildings closing up, houses being boarded up, businesses being run out, and the oppressive nature of what was going on here with the Democrats had come to power, and the Democratic influence was really trying to strangulate and choke California out. So it just so happened I interviewed Rosa Corey for my show because I was getting, this is 4 years ago now, and then it just dawned, it clicked that so many things that I was reminiscent about in 1992, going back to Germany. I figured out, I put two and two together, and I could see what the plan was through Agenda 21, United Nations Agenda 21. Right. Then I researched it, and I instantly understood it. So the very next day after I interviewed her, I stayed up all night long and got the whole game plan for United Nations Agenda 21. I went to my station owner and said, I'm starting a new radio show tomorrow called Agenda 21 Radio. And that's how we started.
Wow. That's is phenomenal.
I recognize what the plan is, what the plan of attack is, how the symbiotic relationships between all the totalitarianism that's out there, and we've melded the three. There's three forms of totalitarian. I call them the three pillars of totalitarianism. One being communism, the next one being National Socialism, and of course the third one being Islamism. And nationalism, for those of you that are not. National Socialism, for those of you that are not really totally understanding what that means, those are the Nazis.
Right.
Nazis. because you see the Nazis never did die off. This is now what you're seeing, part and parcel, what's happening here unveiled. And so clearly here in the last week or so, especially with this situation in France and the president not showing up, you're seeing Nazi ideology step to the fore. Nobody recognizes it except the Europeans clearly recognize it. They totally get what's going on here with the Nazis coming back through President Barack Hussein Obama.
Wow. And we are, and we're seeing, we're wondering, we sit here in the United States and we'll wonder, we've got 360 million people plus in this country. We tipped that scale, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And yet we watch European countries that are much smaller by scale and volume, and they are having these big, pushes against Islam, against, the government. Right. And yet we're sitting here in the United States waiting. What are we waiting for?
Well, and this is where we all come in here on the radio, and also what I call the news stream media, which is exploding. All those bloggers out there and people setting up the websites and all that stuff. We have to get the word out, and that's why I recognize what the plan was instantly 4 years ago when I started the radio show. Right. And it's epiphany, and that's what happens to everybody. Sooner or later, people will get it. They'll understand, and they'll go, wait a minute, I got to take some action here, and I got to get on people like our Rhino Republicans who are actually part and parcel part of the Nazis. Excuse me, that's just sort of a.
No, I agree. I agree.
Right.
We are really hard on them because as we started out the show talking about, they've got a different agenda behind closed doors, something going on in D.C.
Right. And I there's no question about the agenda that's going on between the Rhino Republicans. It's certainly not the Tea Partiers don't quite get it yet. A lot of them are starting to understand what's happening. I talk to Tea Parties all the time, and let me tell you, when I'm done, the light bulbs go on. And I think maybe some of the light bulbs have gone on for you guys when I'm discussing here. But the whole notion, people have to understand that what we're seeing here is really the playing out of ancient, religious ideologies that are coming forward: Christian, Catholic, Protestant, Islam, Sunni Islam in particular, because of the Moorish Empire and the Persian Empire. But the other ideology that comes in to play are modern day totalitarian notions, especially through the Muslim Brotherhood, Nazism, and communism. And the Muslim Brotherhood, which is the most radical form of Islam and preaches all the caliphate and all that stuff, is what we are seeing as the spear, the tip of the spear in this global worldwide effort to destroy America, which is headed up by financiers such as George Soros.
Absolutely.
Yes, George Soros.
It's funny how his name keeps popping up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, George Soros is the guy. The story just came out today. I was really surprised it came out a little earlier than I thought it was. But we've been watching George Soros and his funding of the Ferguson riots and all these riots.
See, so guys, we were going to talk about that too. I'm sorry there, Paul. We were going to discuss that later in the show. But remember a few months ago when we started out day one talking about Ferguson here, we told you that there was big money paying and paving the way for those people to be in Ferguson. Most of those people had no business in Ferguson. They were sent to agitate, and they were being paid to. And we told you then, if you followed the money, you would find Soros was behind a lot of it.
We did, right from day one. Follow the money and follow who stands to gain the most, who stands to benefit the most from it.
To your credit, you see, this is where you come in and passing this information on. And by the way, the White House hates this kind of talk. And I little wonder why, of course.
We were talking earlier in the show. I mean, we've got government mainstream media. We no longer have open media when he can step in and demand that they do not run any anti-Muslim or anti-jihad stories, and they acquiesce.
Yeah, well, that's totalitarianism on the march right there. Right. The free press here in this country should never do that, and that's why people are turning for answers to us, because we are free. We're exercising our freedom of speech, And they've got the muzzle hold on them. Of course, George Soros and all these other guys, all the rich people, all the moneyed people are paying off the major networks, General Electric and so on. But, George Soros is a particularly nasty kind of guy. He grew up as a Jewish child, I believe, in Belgium. And when the Nazis came in, he switched sides.
Yes, he did.
Became a Nazi collaborator. And that's how he got his first batch of wealth after World War II, was turning in Jews that went marching off to the gas chamber, and he went and looted their houses and their riches, and that's how he became rich after the war. He took his money over to Great Britain, and the rest is history. So he's a Nazi collaborator. So the stream of Nazism that runs through what's going on right now is just absolutely amazing. You can go back to the formation of the Muslim Brotherhood in 1928 and how easily Adolf Hitler adopted them and combined forces with them in 1930. And then World War II happened, and actually you probably heard about all the, well, maybe you don't, but a lot of people don't understand that the Nazis and the Muslim Brotherhood stayed strong throughout World War II.
Yes,
they formed several divisions of Muslim Nazis, if you will, in the Balkans, and that's where Serbia and Croatia and all that stuff is. And they fought side by side against the Soviet Union, or the Russians at the time. And then after World War II, the Nazis, they didn't go away just because they lost the war. Didn't mean they said boo hoo hoo, we're going to go away now. No, they reformed, and they reformed themselves, and they utilized an exit strategy to get all the knowledge base of how Nazism came to power and so on through what was called the rat line, utilizing the Catholic Church.
Right.
Because the Catholic Church was heavily involved. And this is where we get to the European thing, that heavily involved in the rise of Adolf Hitler and Nazism and Germany. And we don't talk about that.
Funny how we're seeing history repeat itself.
Right. Well, because, you got a pope in there who's a Jesuit, and that's another interesting thing. I mean, we got to keep in mind, Obama has been very well groomed. He went a couple years to Jesuit school. He went a couple years to madrasa as a kid. So he gets this whole combination of blending, how you can blend an ideology like anti-colonialism. Mm-hmm. And, of course, who was attacked the other day but France, a big colonial power, right?
Right.
And what did he do? He put disrespect on France by not going there, right? So, of course, his dad was a huge anti-colonialist. So the struggle with him was, I don't even think he struggled. He just knew it was I think the whole thing was a false flag designed to set this stuff up. But that's just me, because all the false flags that we've been seeing that have led us down this road is, I think, pretty self-evident at this time.
Just one after another.
Go ahead.
Just one after another. I
right.
mean,
right. Well, that's their gig. And you see, this is what I try and tell people, calm down. We're being attacked, and this is what the game plan, this is the strategy, is to overwhelm us with cloud and pivot type strategies. Right. So it's 24 hours being bombarded. This thing happened, this thing happened, this thing happened. Obama does what I call Obama distractions. So, like the airplanes that have been brought down, every time there's an airplane brought down, there's always been some sort of big Obama cover-up, or they've used that in the media to stop the media distraction to the public. As an example, the most recent one that went down, Air Asia,
right.
Well, what happened there? What was going on at the same time that flight went down? Do you guys remember?
Oh gosh, we're filtering through
there's
stuff
so
on
much.
a daily basis.
Right. Well, that's the point. But what was going on was De Blasio was being disrespected because of the funerals of the two dead police officers.
Right.
Oh, sure.
And the Eric Garner situation.
And I can absolutely remember, and I'm thinking maybe your listeners probably remember this too, that as soon as that plane was announced, of course, I've been following Flight 370 and Flight 17, which were also brought down by the Obama administration, because you take a look at what was going on there, it's the same thing. But as soon as that happened, I was driving in my car listening to Sirius Radio, and I heard that, and I came right home, and I turned on my 5 channels, and everybody was wall-to-wall with the Air Asia. There was not one thing, I think, said for the entire day about the de Blasio situation with the cops turning in. Of course, that was huge.
Right.
Flight 17, we had the situation that was going on back in July. It went down on July 17th. Now, those of you that are into Islamic numerology, you'll probably understand where I'm coming from. because 17 is a significant number, especially if you go 17, 17, 17. Well, that's some other discussion. But July 16th, the president, or the video that was made where the Russians were jumping up and down and being excited about the plane being shot, and they showed that out there that said they got this video, and they said that this is evidence that the Russians shot them down.
That was a joke video.
Well, sure, it was. And the thing is, it was made the day before the plane was brought down. It's interesting, and you can
Well, one of the things that I found interesting when I watched that video is all of the passports they said were there. This plane just exploded in midair. How come none of them are burnt?
Right. Isn't that weird?
Good point.
It's just like the guy leaving his ID card conveniently in the car the other day. What's up with that? You know what I'm saying?
The one terrorist, right, from the in France.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The possible clue that it was a false flag operation. But in the case of Flight 17, you can Google this on my website, or you can go and search it. I wrote an article about this because it was brought to my attention by my sources that this video was made the day before. And I said, really? So then I started checking the president's schedule and the date and timestamp on that video when it was made. And the date that it was made was July 16th. And it just so happens that the president went in for his presidential daily briefing at 10:30 in the morning Eastern time. And then by 11:10 Eastern time, the video was being produced over in the Ukraine.
Wow.
I am just retelling
you just laying the information out there. Hey,
wow.
We love this. We love this.
But then there's then there was Flight 370, which my sources say is in Pakistan. It was deliberately flown by wire to Diego Garcia. We were the ones who broke that story originally. Mm-hmm. And the content, of course, the aircraft, they have a super secret stealth thing. And, of course, the relationship back to Texas with that company. The whole thing is just absolutely an obscenity. But they brought that down because, one, they wanted to show Obama they could fly by wire. Right. And the other one was that they wanted to cover up what was going on in the Ukraine. See, the Ukraine is interesting because Putin does not want the Ukrainians to any nationalism because they're aligned with the Nazis. I don't know if you know that.
Right.
And
Paul,
who's been in there firing the troops up but John Brennan in the CIA?
Well, of course. Well, guys, Paul, welcome to the network.
Yeah, you've just blown my mind for a half hour.
You've just blown through a complete segment, and we just love it. But to our listeners out there, guys, you're hearing it here. This is, we wanted to bring him on and give him an introduction to you guys because it's important to us that you get the information. Whether you get it from us, if you get it from somewhere else, we don't care where you get it from as long as you get it. And then spread
the other thing, too, if I could quickly, is Rosa Corey taught me this lesson. Pass that information on to somebody else now that you have it.
Amen to that. Okay. But you guys can reach, you guys can listen to more of Paul. He is on Agenda 21 program that runs here on CPR Worldwide Media Network from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. And we are absolutely thrilled to have you, and I look forward to listening into your show, Paul.
Oh, well, Monday will be a blockbuster, trust me. We've got a whole bunch of stuff coming up, and my sources are bringing things forward, especially some things here in California that will affect the rest of the nation. And if you want to stop the EPA, you want to listen to my radio show next week because we have the formula by which we're going to stop the EPA cold.
Oh, wow. Welcome to the network, and God bless you in your efforts. I want to make sure, though, we are getting the times right because you, being based on the West Coast, on the left coast, you will actually be, for Eastern, you would actually be 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern, correct? I want to make sure I'm not getting this confused. I don't want to confuse everybody.
It's 9 a.m. to 12 Eastern. It would be 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific.
There you go.
Right.
I am wrong, folks. Sorry for the confusion. There, I have been corrected.
There you go.
Well, guys, we've got to take a break. Somebody's got to pay the bills around here. We'll be back in a few moments. You guys stick with us. Paul, thank you for coming on.
Yes,
thank you very
This is a
much.
station
And good luck with your show. I don't.
You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
Over the next 40 years, the United States population is going to grow by over 90 million people, and almost all that growth is going to be in cities. What's the healthiest and best way for them to grow so that they really become cauldrons of prosperity and cities of opportunity? What we have found is that if that family is moved into safe, green, affordable housing, places that have access to great school systems, access to jobs, and multiple transportation modes, then the neighborhood begins to thrive and really, really take off. The oxygen of community redevelopment is financing. And all this rebuilding that happened could not have happened without organizations like Citi.
One of the things that we really try to do is to collaborate with people like Jonathan Rose, who are really like-minded and really can also provide innovative solutions to social issues.
And Citi has formed a partnership with our company so that we can take all the lessons from the revitalization of urban America to other cities. So we're now working in Chicago and in Washington, D.C., and Newark.
It's branching off of Jonathan's expertise and the fact that he has done so many wonderful affordable housing projects, new development and rehabilitation work. And so we were really seeing that there was a need for his skill in areas even outside of New York.
It's amazing how important safe, affordable housing is to the future of our society.
You meet new people, they want to know what you do. And when you tell them your job is to invest in things like low-income housing and schools and healthcare, they're shocked and they're so surprised that a job like this exists in finance. They always say that they had no idea, and then they want to know how they can get a job like that.
It's not about how many miles you can get out of the C-Max hybrid. It's about how much life you can fit into it. The Ford C-Max Hybrid, with an EPA estimated range of 540 miles on a tank of gas, and all the room you need to enjoy the trip. Go stretch out. Go further.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here. We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day. The moment you connect, you're no longer in control.
What does this guy want? No claim, no statement.
We're facing a nuclear meltdown. This is only the beginning.
Black Hat, rated R.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Welcome back, everybody. It's WTF, and I am V. Wright.
And folks, welcome back to the show. I am Jose Estevez. Once again, if you're new to the show, you are listening to the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot radio show. We are live, unrehearsed, unscripted, and unpolitically correct, Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And folks, as if we haven't brought you enough yet tonight, quality programming, we have another guest with us that's holding. And V, why don't you introduce him, and let's give him a few minutes to talk about what he's got to talk about.
Great job. We have Brian McDavitt here. And he is with 2 million bikers to DC. However, these 2 million bikers, that organization is going to Garland, Texas. And Brian, not only are you guys going to Garland, but you're going to another location as well. Why don't you tell me what your itinerary is for the weekend?
Well, yes, ma'am. We first off, I was told about the event Sunday morning. And as soon as I found it, I started sending it to all my brothers. And bikers are a crazy group of people. We're all interlinked within different groups. We all know each other. So that's how it's able to be pulled off. So I started sending out all the information to everybody that I could think of. One big group that I do belong to is the 2 Million Bikers 2DC.
Right.
I sent to them, and the regional coordinator, she ran with the information and started helping me put flyers together and post them online so everybody could be aware of it. And, this is an event that we need to stand up for because America is like a melting pot,
Right.
And if you're going to come over here, you need to break down and be part of the seasoning. And I like gumbo, so you need to, and I like pork and sausage gumbo. So if you're going to come over here, you need to break down and be the seasoning. You don't turn my gumbo into a plain salad because I'm not going to go for it.
Oh, I love you. That's awesome. And I'm getting hungry because I love food.
And if people don't understand, that's what they're doing. They come in. They're saying that this is supposed to be a peaceful. This is to show how peaceful they are. Well, if it's such a peaceful thing, why do you have radicalists? And I'm not going to say extreme. They're radicals. Why do you have them as speakers on your event? I mean, you have one that is a unindicted conspirator to the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. How is that going to promote peace? If you want to promote peace, how about you go to one of the Fox News reported it last night. There's 22 known terrorist camps. So if you want to promote peace, how about you go over there and stand in front of your own people and condemn them? Don't go with somewhere that you have no business to do it.
Well, let's face it. They are not calling for peace. They aren't calling for a unified situation. What they are calling for is please recognize us as victims so that we can forge forward.
Exactly. And I've had a few encounters since I've been spreading the word, and I know my face has been plastered all over Facebook. And I've had a few encounters, and the first thing they would say would be to start condemning me or trying to convert me or, start throwing out the KKK and try to play the victim card.
Well, that's
they
what they're
doing. They are very good liars. They practice that. Now, how do you say that? What's that word they use? It starts with a T. The art of lying.
Takia.
Yeah, that one. They're good at it. They want everybody to feel sorry for them. And if America don't wake up, it's going to be too late. And what better group of people to wake America up and to stand with Christine than a bunch of bikers?
Amen. And just to let you guys know that, like I said, some of our military are going to be out there. I know for a fact that some friends of mine from the United States Marine Corps are going to be out there. So what's it looking like, Brian? Are we looking good in numbers or?
I'm pretty sure we are. I'm very positive on the numbers. Bikers are a tricky group of people. They don't like to say they're going somewhere because they just happen to show up.
Right.
And like I said, I've been in touch with a couple of organizations, 2 Million Bikers, 2DC being one of them. And I know there's a couple of other organizations rallying up their people to go.
Right.
And I live 500 miles away from Garland. I'm making the trip.
Well,
and bikers love to be places that other bikers are at. So
sure.
Well, and you can't think of a better stand to make. Now, not only are you going to be there Saturday with Christine, and I'm not sure I brought this up to Christine, but you've got something else on your itinerary for the weekend too, don't you?
Well, I don't personally, but I have been talking to a couple other people in Dallas, Texas. They are holding the same type of conference. And there's another protest going on that day in front of that conference center. And I can't quote on the exact date because I have to, like I said, I have to be back in Louisiana. I have to make that 500-mile ride so I can be back at work Monday morning. But
So
there is some motorcycle groups that are going to attend and protest on that one too. And if you're not able for some reason to make the one on Saturday, you need to show up for the one on Sunday.
So this is an all-weekend event. We've got the one in Garland that is going to be at approximately 3 p.m. begin on approximately 3 p.m. on Saturday, and then we have another one. And guys, we'll get the details on that. I do not have the details on that now, but the Senor and I will get the details on that and post it on our Facebook pages and the show's Facebook page, and you guys can find that information there. But we will get that information out there.
They also have the information to it if you go to the either one of the big protest sites that are out there on the on Facebook right now that everybody's liking. I'm pretty sure it's on all of them. They've shared the links to it.
Okay, so if you guys are on Facebook and you need the information about the Dallas event, which is just like 30 miles south of Garland, that will be Sunday. So they're planning to do this again on Sunday.
Well, I'm sorry, I might have missaid it. I'm sorry. It's the Dallas event. I mean, is Garland, and then you have the Houston event. I'm sorry, I might have gave you the whole wrong.
Okay.
Yep. Houston. I'm sorry.
It's the Garland event on Saturday, and then Houston on Sunday. So, if you want information on that, you guys can check out the Facebook page of 2 Million Bikers to DC.
Yeah.
All of that information is there. I can't just jump up and go this time. I usually do. People are accustomed
to.
People are accustomed to me saying, you know what? I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning, but I think I'm going to drive 500 miles tonight, and I'll be there tomorrow. But I can't do that on this in this particular event. However, everybody knows that I do. Christine Weck and I are going to be at the Dearborn Mosque March 6th, and welcome all of you guys to come out for that event as well. We have got to stop this. We've got to put it in its tracks. Christine's going out with a wonderful sign that says, "I worship Jesus who is risen. Muhammad died." We've got people going out with signs that say "Assimilate, go home." We've got people going out with signs that say "No Sharia." We have to make this point.
And I'm going to go riding my motorcycle waving a big old American flag.
Amen,
God
brother.
bless America.
Beautiful.
Amen. That is wonderful. Well, guys, this is Brian McDavid. He is a friend of both Jose and I. A fairly new friend, but a very welcome one.
Yes, very much.
Well, thank y'all very much.
And he's the 2 Million Bikers are going to be working both at the Garland event Saturday and the Houston event Sunday. Both are they're parallels of one another, and they both need to be hit with as many people as we can get there. Guys, let's don't be Germany. The Muslims think they won in Germany. They think they now have control of Germany because they outnumbered.
And they're trying to do it here.
And they're trying to do it here.
They're all over in Europe.
They outnumbered them 4-1. We cannot allow that to occur in the United States of America.
No, we cannot.
No, and the bad thing is the general public, they like to hide behind a computer screen and complain about it. Well, this is the time to stand up. Everything did not, Great Britain and France, Germany, they're not third world countries. You used to be able to say that's only happens in the Middle East. No, it's coming here. It's here. It's time to stand up and take a stand if you love your country.
It is
Preach
here.
It, Brian. Preach it, man. Wow.
It
right
is
on.
here. And then we have the New Care and Muslim Brothers sponsorship of the new Islamic political party. Where do you guys think this is going? They have already made it clear that they are going to use our government against us.
Well, they already do it. They use the freedom of speech. They'll sit there and say, "Oh, you're not letting us have our rights, not to be able to use our freedom of speech. But as soon as you give it, then they try to imply a shared law, which takes it all away from it. So they're using our government while they have the power to, and then trying to turn it around and take it away from it.
Well, exactly. They do the same thing with the welfare system. They come here and they get on welfare, and then they say, oh, well, because of my religious beliefs, you're not treating me fairly. I need halal.
Exactly.
No, let me tell you, when a dog is walking down the street, he will eat anything. That's just the way it is.
Right.
It is, and I'm not going to let them take over. I like to eat a bacon sandwich. I like bacon on my cheeseburger, and I'm going to continue to eat it.
I'm a big hunter, Brian. So I mean, we do hog hunting here. We also do deer, but I mean, we do hog hunting here. We have a problem with wild hog here, and so I mean, we're and I'm from the South, man. We're big on pork.
Yeah.
Well, then we speak the same language because I'm down here in Louisiana. I love to eat some pork, and if they got a problem with hogs, there's going to be a lot of hogs riding in them.
Brian, I'm telling you what right now, you are an official friend of the show, and if I'm ever down in your neck of the woods, I want to sample some of that food you've been talking about. I am serious as I sit here right now in my bunker. Man,
Brian,
I'm telling you what, I will break bread with you and we will eat some pork.
You know we will, because that's how we cook down here in the South.
Oh, man. I'm drooling already.
Well, Brian, thank you so much for agreeing to come on tonight.
Yes.
Thank you for being a new member of our WTF team. Guys, just to let you know, Brian has agreed that he will be part of our boots on the ground, and because of the lack of information we're getting from the mainstream media, he will be videoing the event, and you're going to share that with us, Brian?
Yeah, I told you I would. I'm going to try to videotape some of it and send as many pictures as I can throughout the event. Like I said, I am going to be on my motorcycle, so I can't videotape the whole thing.
Right. Absolutely. But yeah, we'll get that stuff posted, and not only will we do this on our Facebook pages, but we will get it out there on our website, the WTF Radio Show, to make sure that it's available to as many people as possible. Brian, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank y'all so much for having me, and it's been an honor.
Oh, okay.
You are very welcome. Thank you for being on the show. And we will definitely be keeping in touch. And you know what? Above all, be safe out there, okay? You guys take care of yourselves.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You are very welcome, sir. Thanks for being on. Have a good evening.
That's it.
Wow, we have had some phenomenal people with us tonight. This is just
flown
by.
2 hours.
Exactly.
I feel like I've been sitting here for 15 minutes.
I know.
Oh, my word. And we are just blessed. I mean, we've had 3 highly intelligent, but you know what? Just real red-blooded Americans.
Good
That's what
Americans,
they all have in common.
Exactly.
No matter what their backgrounds, no matter where they're from. I mean, we got one from California, we've got one from Louisiana, another one from the Midwest, and I mean, the one thing they all have in common is just the love for their constitutional republic, for their country, wanting to get the word out, wanting to be involved. Like Brian said, not just sitting behind a computer screen ranting and raving, but actually doing something, feet on the ground, getting involved. And I'm telling you what, folks, that doesn't make you proud to be an American. And if it doesn't help motivate you to get out there and do something as well, wherever you can in your area, maybe you can't get to Texas, okay, but there's stuff going on all across this country of ours, folks. Get involved. Don't just sit behind that computer. Get involved. It doesn't take a lot of money, usually just some of your time. Get involved with other patriots and help change the course of this country. We've had enough of the fundamental transformation, folks, and he's going to double down on it the next 2 years. We just had the story earlier in the show. He just said he's going to double down on it. He's going to go against everything the Republicans try to do, and I don't think they've got enough spine or testosterone to oppose him. They certainly haven't the last 6 years, so why would we think the next 2 years are going to be any different?
Well, exactly. I mean, and it's not. They're going to double down, and you know what, folks? If we don't want to get into an actual war environment, if we do not really, I mean, I hear people on a daily basis, and I don't know if they say it and think that it's not really going to happen. If we don't want to get into a revolution situation to where we are once again fighting for our freedoms and at the cost of our brothers and sisters and our children and our parents, then, you know, we have to make every inroad to divert that and still gain ground. Otherwise, hit the streets tomorrow, folks. I mean, seriously.
Seriously, that's it. You know.
And it's not everybody else's responsibility. We are only responsible for ourselves. I have gotten up and gone to every single event I could possibly make, and I have been disappointed on more than one occasion, and our listeners know that. Our listeners know that. When I get there and I find, there's only 10 of us that showed up, or there's only 20 of us that showed up, or a couple of hundred, it's extremely disappointing. But you know what? I still get up and go. And if I could be in Texas Saturday morning, I would be leaving here tonight.
Oh, yes, she would. There. When she says that, there's no doubt about that.
It's important that we make every stand we can, and we cannot use excuses. You know what? My laundry needs to get done Saturday too. My floors need to be mopped too. Car needs to go in for an oil change. A lot of things are going on. There's always going to be a reason. Life gets in the way, but we cannot allow life to get in the way of our freedoms. If we do, we become an enslaved society. Are you ready to be a slave? I'm not.
I think the words of Ronald Reagan, and of course, we're big fans of him here as well as many of you are out there. I think the words of Ronald Reagan are especially poignant and pointed right now and just fit in perfectly. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny, Ronald Reagan said. We will preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we will sentence them to take the first step into 1,000 years of darkness. Folks, we're 6 years deep into that abyss that he warned us about. How much further are we going to go? Are we going to take this seriously, or are we just going to keep saying, no, somebody else will take care of it? We've got too much to do. Sports are on. Let our apathy continue to take over. What are we going to do, folks?
Exactly.
It is definitely time. Stand up, be counted.
Well, guys, it has been another wonderful week, Senor.
Yes, it has been a wonderful week, folks. We are live with you every night, Monday through Thursday. So not every night, Monday through Thursday, 4 nights out of the week, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern here on CPR Worldwide Media. We, as always, V and I come to you live, unrehearsed, unscripted, unpolitically correct. We are PG-13, but definitely not PC. And folks, we hope you've enjoyed this evening and this week's editions of the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot radio show. We absolutely love doing this. I mean, it is just, we're blessed to be able to do it. And I just want to say, as I always close out the program, God bless America. Take care of yourselves. Take care of everyone else. Well, of course, you're already doing that. You're good conservatives. You're already taking care of everyone else. But you know what? Be good to each other, and we'll see you back here.
These mist-covered mountains are a home now for me, but my home is the lowlands, and always will be. Someday you'll return to your valleys and your farms, and you no longer burn to be brothers in arms. through these fields of destruction. Baptisms of fire,